Welcome, everyone. My name is Charles Thompson. I'm really excited to share with you today this very powerful tool that we have as power consultants. It's called the Power Proposal, and it's hosted by Solo. Just think about those terms: solo, independence, giving you the ability to do so many things as a solar energy consultant that you normally would have to go through a design team. This empowers us as consultants to do so many things with a homeowner that you can literally walk through the entire presentation in a matter of 45 minutes to 60 minutes and have not only the proposal presented, but contract signed, credit check, etc. So with that said, let's take a look at the tool. The first thing you're going to notice is it has the installer's name listed right under the Power brand. It's important to review that before starting the proposal, because from time to time, we actually rotate between the installers in a specific market based upon their timelines, based upon performance, based upon our volume, etc. So try not to ever lock yourself into any one brand. It's the power of the platform that you really should be leveraging. You then get the name of the customer, their address, their phone number, and below that, the second page is we'll call this maximum fit. This is what the system will look like if we put panels everywhere that it looks like panels will apply. That's likely not where you're going to end up in terms of the final proposal, but it does commit at max fit. And I'm going to talk about production for north and south-facing panels, etc. But I'll scroll down here a little bit and show you. In this particular case, it came in at 195% offset. Clearly, that's not what we want to do for the customer. So it's our responsibility, it's our job, if you will, to remove the panels that are going to give the customer what their specific needs are. We'll walk through each of those sections. All right, so on the third page, portion of that, you have the system size based upon max design. That will change as you remove the panels. It has the option, in this particular case, is defaulted to a Mission Solar 310 watt panel. And if this system went just the way it's designed, you can look at the details. It shows you how much production you'll have from each of those arrays. It shows you any shading allocations. So if you know that those trees are no longer there, before you requested the proposal, you should make that firm with the design team so they can remove that shade allowance. If really critical, you can ask for a revision without that shade, again, assuming that the trees are no longer there. And then this gives you the month-by-month production from that system. And again, that will change based upon the final design. So we'll play around with that in just a moment. But one of the really powerful things that you have here up in the hamburger section is access to everything that you will need to do to get this deal done. You'll notice here in the top section, you'll have your login. I recommend logging in when you look at the proposal if you are not already there, so that when it comes time to your agreement, it will have you all set in. Your username is the same username that you have with your Power platform. Your password will be distributed to you upon your enrollment. Now, come back here, we'll take a look at the hamburger, and you'll notice that you can look at the list of adders. You can look at the incentives for the market, the equipment, the rate plans, etc. Let's go step by step through the adders. In here, this defaulted to a specific margin, which you can clearly take the liberty to adjust. Let's just say in this particular case, it's a large system. And you can see as you adjust that number, so does the margin. And of course, as the margin increases and decreases, so does the number that is going to be reflected. That's going to be the final system cost. So I'm going to keep this at about 80 cents a watt. And of course, this will all change as the system changes. Your list of adders is here. If it's a D-rate, or if it's a main panel upgrade or relocation, a line side tap, whatever the case may be, you can look at those. You can see the prices that will be added to the proposal based upon those specific upgrades. If there are specific adders on mounting, and I suggest you go through training to understand what that will all be about, you can add those mounting adders. You can see here if it's different shingles, if it's different type of clay tile, etc. There'll be adders for these particular types of roofing. Now, if you come down here, if you're doing any ground mount, you can look at the different options that you have. So basically, if it's not on the adder sheet, you're probably not going to be able to include that into the proposal. If you do have some miscellaneous work, I always suggest that you use the miscellaneous electrical work. You can put the number there. Let's say that the homeowner is doing some energy efficiency types of items, and you can put that number in there follow all the parameters of what the mins and maxes are, and that number will be reimbursed to the homeowner out of the sale and installation as opposed to coming out of your commission. Again, lots of tremendous flexibility. You'll notice here that you have the ability for the LG Chem. If you do use the LG Chem, you can see that automatically populates the price with commission associated. Look at the current comp plan to know what that is. And if you do use the LG Chem, be sure to select the storage edge inverters, and we'll take a look at that in the equipment section. So tremendous amount of power. I'm going to remove that so it doesn't impact the pricing, but you can see all the different options, and every installation partner has different options. So it's never going to be the exact same adder sheet that's being pulled directly from whatever that installation partner has provided us. So that is your adders list. The incentives section is if there are any local incentives, they'll be listed here. You can either hide them or leave them open. This is the federal income tax credit, the FITC. And of course, you want to leave that selected. You can show the homeowner the options of whether they take advantage of that or not. We'll come back to that. Here on the equipment side, let's just say that the decision has been made. In this particular case, we've got the options of a Hanwha 285 and 315s and 325s. We've got the LGs. You can see you've got a wide array of options. I tend to lean towards the Mission Solar 310 American-made panel, great pricing, but your most inexpensive panel is going to be the Hanwha 285, and you'll see that that will typically add, I believe it's about 10 cents back into your margin. So you have all that power in the field. That's the beautiful thing about what we have. I'm going to leave on this particular pole the 310s, and it automatically adds whatever inverters are necessary. So you don't have to make those changes unless you're doing something with the EV or you're doing a particular battery storage. And if that's the case, you can see here the storage and inverter is right here, the SolarEdge storage. All right, so a lot of really powerful tools on the equipment. On the rate plans, these are what has been provided typically at the point of requesting the proposal, and you can change those based upon whatever the particular options are. Typically, they're going to come in and they're going to be fine. The default is normally fine. Your utility escalation is defaulted to 4% annualized escalation. That can change. You can drop that down. You can raise that up. But be sure to use the numbers that are for that particular market. I always leave it at 4% and just show the homeowner the normal rate of escalation. You have the ability to request docs, export this presentation. Now, it's really important. Do not share this link that you have. That's the live dynamic proposal link. If you do that, the homeowner will have access to look at everything and change everything. You certainly don't want to be the case. So you can export this to PDF, or you can share this to the email address and text it to the phone number that's on file for that particular client. You can copy it to the clipboard and email that to them, whatever your desire is. But do not, by any means, utilize that dynamic link and provide that to the customer. Very important that you keep this information confidential. So that is the real powerful tool in terms of what's here in your menu bar, your adders and everything that's listed. Let's take a look at a little bit more depth here of what the consumption and what the productions are. So in this particular case, I really found it odd that in July, the consumption was way lower than what it was in June and August. So as a consultant, our responsibility first is to look at every single month, and if we have a bill that has an entire grid, verify that that data is accurate. If you have the ability to get 12 months usage, that's the best way to give your customer the most predictable production and consumption available. In this case, I had a bill and I noticed that July was extremely low. So when we got to the consultation portion, I asked specifically, what happened in July? Why was July numbers so low? And they indicated that they had gone on vacation. They turned literally everything off except for a light that turned on at night. So we looked at the realistic numbers of what they would be, and we adjusted that number, which you have the ability to do right there in real time. And we modified that to 2,000 kilowatt hours, which showed a gradual growth as it got hotter in June, July, August, and started to decrease again in September. Notice that it auto-saved. That's a wonderful feature that prevents you from making changes and then requesting documents before you have saved. You can disable that if you like while you're playing with the proposal, but there's really no reason to. So it's a fantastic feature, protects you as a consultant. Again, every single one of these months can be adjusted in real time right there in the field and just hit update once you have added that data. Incredibly powerful. Now this is the consumption, all of these months of consumption, and it shows down here below. And then this is the production line. And walk through this with the client and talk about the net metering benefits based upon that market, whether it's a month-to-month, whether it's annual, whatever the case may be. Know your market and know how to design the system for your client. So we're at 180% offset. That's clearly too much for the homeowner. So we can back up, and the first thing the homeowner said to me when they saw this design, I don't want any panels on the front of my home. Well, okay. That means all these are going to go primarily to the north side because that's where this array is located. I said, tell me why. And it was more about aesthetics. And I said, well, there's some significant benefits to having the panels on the front of the home because your self-facing array is going to give you the best overall production. They said, well, I don't know. I really don't want them on the front. I said, all right, listen, I will give you everything that you want. This is your system. Let me consult you and show you exactly what the differences are. So let's start at 0 on all of the other panels and just leave the north-facing panels. And let's see what that does to the production and the cost. So we moved all of these panels and just gave them what they wanted. Right? So that's our jobs as consultants. We work for the homeowner. Here we are. So now we've looked at the system. And again, that picture up top is a static picture, so it's not going to change. Frame that with your customer so that they know. But here we are, look at that, 33 panels on the north-facing side, and we're at a 44% offset. That's clearly not going to be enough for the homeowner. But I said, just so you know why I would recommend them being on the self, let's remove those panels. And by the way, let's take a look at the cost. If you want to look at the cost, right, we're looking at about a $39,000 system before credits. Take a note of that. All right, so let's go back here, remove the north-facing panels, put everything at 0, and once we've got that to 0, let's go back to 33 panels on the south-facing side. So for consultants who look at a home and they want panels everywhere, let's look at the reality of what that means, north versus south. Scroll down, 77% offset versus a 43% offset. Guess what the cost is? It's the same cost no matter where you had them. So do you want 43% offset or do you want 77% of your energy offset? The homeowner clearly made the decision about now having the panels on the south-facing side. Incredibly powerful as opposed to you saying it. It's you showing the homeowner the scientific data that will result in the production of their system. So the homeowner wanted to get up to the at least 100% because they were planning on adding some things. They were talking about using their air conditioner more. And what I wanted to do is create some balance. I created balance between each of these and just went back and forth until I had the homeowner where they wanted to be. And they were telling me where to stop, where to start. So they wanted to have it look aesthetically good. We got to 99% with 6 panels on each side, east and west, and 33 panels on the south. Homeowner was very happy with that. That's a beautiful thing. You're giving the homeowner what they want. So then we can back up and we looked at the production and talked about the net metering and how the net metering would carry over on an annual basis based upon that particular utility, etc. So homeowner was very satisfied with what they had. That resulted in a 13.95 kW system with 45 Mission solar panels and producing 21,543 kilowatt hours. Fantastic system, very happy homeowner. Really, it came down to where do you want to go from here? So the conversations were had in advance that the homeowner was looking to replace their bill. So we want to get them the best financing plan. You can choose all of the financing options for that particular installer simply by clicking on the Select Finance Option tab. In this case, I went in advance and tested all those, and I landed on the best overall value for the homeowner was the 20-year 3.99. And in this particular case, they're lowering their cost versus solar, but they still have a utility bill because they're connected to the grid. Now, these are estimates. They're never going to be exactly what that bill is going to be. So frame that with the customer and let them understand that. This is a connection fee. Some utilities have no connection fees. Some utilities do. Again, know your market. So we looked at these options. Homeowner was satisfied with the replacement of one bill, which is an asset, versus the liability bill, and the homeowner was happy with it. The simple close of his use, and again, let's go look at the margins just to see what that came out to be. We have $15,345 margin. Homeowner was happy. Let's just say the homeowner, we need to negotiate that down. We can take that down, let's say to 80 cents, and let's see what happens. It's going to reflect in the price, which is going to reflect in the payment. So you have all of that power at your hands in the home, including all the design, everything that you need. Just make sure that minimum margin, make a note of that, the minimum margin for power is $5,000 if you want your 70% split. Power needs $1,500 margin. So on a $5,000 margin, your commission would be $3,500, power would be $1,500. If you went lower than $5,000, your commission is going to be reducing. Power's $1,500 stays in line. So always make sure you're keeping a $1,500 margin. The beautiful thing about this is once the homeowner looked at it, a simple closing tool was, let's take a look and see if we get you qualified. You click on qualify, you add in whatever blanks are on that particular loan application. They differ by loan partner, and then click submit. Once you've clicked submit, generally within 60 seconds, you get back a response. That response will be approved or conditionally approved or declined. Follow the instructions that are listed in terms of what conditional approvals are. If it's not listed, then the homeowner will contact the loan company and they'll find out whatever those stipulations were. If it was approved, the email address that was sent will get the approval information and the click to get the loan documents. As a consultant, it's your responsibility to capture the loan doc notification and upload that into the note section. Follow the point of sale training that is in our libraries and training tools, and follow all those instructions, but everything comes to you seamlessly through this. So once the homeowner is qualified, the next step is to get them the documents. Come here to the docs request, fill in the applicable information, whether it's the homeowner, whether it's the co-applicant or utility holder, and just fill in each gap. If you, in this particular case, we know this one was a Texas Solar Integrated, so I'm going to put Power TSI. Always make sure that this matches up with what is on your proposal. And then you put the name of the homeowner. In this particular case, your utility account information, your meter information. If there is a cosigner, you can add a cosigner. That'll put their information in place. If not, don't click it. And then click Request Docs. What will happen is the documents will come to you first. So many times people are messaging saying, hey, the client has not received the documents, because they come to you first. You receive that notification, go through, make sure everything is accurate, accept those documents, and then immediately after that, they go to the homeowner. Again, capture every approval and every signature that happens, so you can take that and load that into your notes section. That way you can get everything done soon. While you're there, grab a copy of the ID. It has to be a US ID of anyone who has signed the loan documents, and put those into the notes section of the letter. All right, back down here, you can see there's a lot more information. Share what is relevant to that particular homeowner. Have that conversation about the federal income tax credit, whether they apply that credit or not. That is their choice. You can show them what will happen month 19 for that particular loan. And then you can show them if they apply the credit over an 18-month period of time, how they'll lock in that rate, for this case, a 20-year loan. All of the other information is here, the savings is here, and it's important to show them the benefit they're going to have with solar, because at the end of that pay period, they're not going to have any payment for the solar energy that's produced, only what remaining smaller portion is on their utility bill. Long-term savings, you can compare what it will look like. Along those lines, you can also do that in real time right up here, where you can move 5-year increments. You can show what that bill's going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years. in 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. That's a massive increase over a period of time. What's that bill going to look like in 25 years? That's going to be gone, and or whatever the connection fee was to utility, you can see that still increases. That's the benefit of taking control of your energy payments, having an asset on your roof instead of a liability payment that you have no return on investment. So explain these things to the homeowner, show them. And again, these rate of increases is based upon the 4% that's in the settings that we just looked at. The balance of this is really the recap. Frame things for your homeowner. Let them know what to expect. All of these are great benefits, all the explanations, offsets of what they're doing for the planet and the environment. We know that this is an economic and environmental decision. For most, it's economic, but show the benefits to the environment. Walk them through the process. We've already reviewed. We've gotten the approval done. The documents are now done. Now we're going to schedule the site survey. Follow the instructions for your market to get that site survey scheduled. Build a level of expectancy for the homeowner. Frame things so they know what to happen, so they're not panicking if they haven't heard from somebody in the next couple of days. Walk them through the appropriate timelines for your market. And then if you need the recap, this is everything that the homeowner will see. This is all pumping into the document. So full transparency is in your best interest. It shows the escalation. It shows the energy plans. It shows what their post-annual electric bill is going to be. It shows what their current. That's a great way to show, look, you're paying almost $3,000 a year now. You're only going to be paying about $600 a year for the connection to stay into the grid to be able to have the net metering. So everything that you need here is on this proposal tool. Oftentimes people ask for revisions. It's important to know that you will not need a revision for everything that we just showed you. It's only for the anomalies, for anything that you can't change while you're in the home with this tool. One of the most common ones would be is if you didn't put the panels on the right roof. In other words, you had the wrong address. That would require a revision. Otherwise, you have so much power at your hands in the home. Walk through this training, play with your proposals, get familiar, know all of the different adders and incentives, know how to change the equipment, take advantage of just such a wonderfully powerful tool. I look forward to your success in this power movement, and the best is definitely ahead. Thanks for listening.